Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. It's me, your boy, SaleenDriver, coming to you with episode number 206 of Wednesday Afternoon Live with me, the SaleenDriver, host of the longest running Wednesday afternoon live stream in all of YouTube that I know of. The show that, excuse me, the show that endeavors week in and week out to prove that it is the definitive show on the internet about nothing in particular. So once again, my dear friends, we delve unto whatever subject the collective live chat and whoever joins me in the stream yard wants to talk about. Let's see who's here. We have the early folks. We have the first person to click in, which would be Ramajamma Taylor. Good afternoon to you, sir. Matt Dumit, here as always. Appreciate your constant and steady participation, sir. Nate DeGreat, Mr. Bug Eyes himself, who I just saw just before I logged on to this nonsense. I just saw that he put up a status on the Book of the Face where he has a girlfriend. Let me see if it's still there. No, it moved. Oh, well. But yes, Nate the Great did in fact update his status to the fact that he is in a relationship with a girl. And I assume it is an actual girl, not some virtual reality girl. So my hearty congratulations or condolences, whichever fits, to you, Nate. And please do enjoy your female companion. She is real. Okay, good. Vic2 Productions is here. One of my mods. And I suspect probably the only mod that's going to show up today because my other steady and sure companion mod on this channel, the Battle Angel, the most patient and long-suffering woman that I know of on the internet, is, I believe, in Las Vegas. I think she's with Mrs. Pete. And is she also with Tiger Cat? I think she's with Tiger Cat as well. So I think it's the three of them tearing Las Vegas apart. BA and Mrs. P trying to win $1 million. Well, hey, we're all out there. We're all out there, Matt. We're all trying to become millionaires, aren't we? Sven is here. Good to TK did not go. Okay, that's good to know. TK did not go. Sven is here. My favorite German. And speaking of Germany, I am Steve Pearson's here today too. Good to see you, sir. I am waiting for a German person to pay for the watch that he bought from me. I did sell a watch on a website called Chrono24. It was the fastest sale I ever did on Chrono24. Usually on that site, you wait days or even weeks or sometimes months before you sell a watch that you list there. I literally sold the watch to him in 15 minutes. I mean, he must have seen the watch and he jumped on it. The money is in escrow. I know the money will be released to me eventually if he doesn't release it on his own. the money is automatically released to me after 7 business days. I would prefer that the little German dude would release the money on his own, but if we're going to wait for him, I mean, we're going to wait, and he's not going to get off his lazy ass and do it. Chrono 24 will do it for me, probably first of next week. So I'll get my money either way. But he does have the watch. It did arrive there according to Chrono and UPS tracking. So I am trying to sell a couple more watches on Chrono 24. But and on one of the watches on a couple of other places, but nobody's biting so far. A couple of Breitlings. Yeah, Dr. Bob's here. I am not much of a watch flipper. Dr. Bob knows this, of course. I do sell watches on occasion. These are watches that I don't wear anymore and really don't have any intention of wearing. 1 down, 2 to go. The 2 that I have for sale are Breitlings. They are very nice watches. One is one of 1,000 pieces they ever made, and the other one is one of 250 watches that they ever made. Again, I'm not going to wear them, so time to move them on. I'd rather have cash. So hopefully somebody, it only takes one person. It only takes one. And I suspect, well, I guarantee you that I will not sell, Dr. Bob knows the place I'm talking about, Flipper's Paradise on the Random Rob Discord. I never am able to sell anything there because nobody on there likes me for some reason. But I'll sell them eventually. Yep, if you don't wear them, move them. I got a whole bunch of watches that I should move, but I still love them too much. Well, Dr. Bob, if people on Flippers like me, they'd at least, show interest in the damn watches that I put up for sale, because I put up for sale good stuff. So, yeah, the problem with watches is Raj, is I love them too much, and it's hard for me to part with them. Yeah, I know. Sven is right. You can actually visit the brightening factory in Gretchen, Switzerland. They do have tours there. They will allow people to come there. The problem is I'm not likely to get over to Switzerland anytime in the near future. Wouldn't mind going. But right now, the only trip I'm taking to Europe is in April. I'm going back to Venice, and I'm looking very much forward to that. But that doesn't happen until the end of April, so whatever. Zona Tucson is here. Good to see you, sir. Shut up, Nate. I know it's a short ride from Venice on the train to Switzerland, but it's not in the itinerary. Not going to be going this time. There is a loose plan. Maybe sometime in the fall after hurricane season is over, perhaps going to London, but that probably, well, I don't know if that'll happen or not. We have been invited to go to London by a gentleman who, a glass artist named Peter Bremer, who lives and works in Wales, and has invited my mom and I to come to London. And he said we can come, go to London, and then it's a short train ride up to his his glass hot shop and gallery in Wales and come visit him and spend a couple of days up there. And he says he would even make a special piece for us that day to commemorate the visit. Who can say no to that, right? So that may happen, but we don't know yet. The problem is you got to get past hurricane season first. And, you know, this past hurricane season for the state of Florida was not kind to us. So we would want to get through. Hopefully, hurricane season 2025 is forecasted to be less severe than 2024. And if we get through it without our houses being flattened, maybe we would consider going to Europe. Going on the cruise, no. I made that decision a long time ago. It was an unpopular decision with pretty much everybody who says I'm not a real slob, I'm not a real fan. I don't like Lou anymore. I don't like Pete anymore. I don't like Hefferbilly Paw anymore. I don't like anybody anymore, and I'm a big old fat old curmudgeon and old fuddy-duddy and blah, blah, blah. None of that is true. I do. I love Lou. I love Pete. I am easily tolerant. No, I'm kidding. I love all you guys in the slob community. I do. Even the ones that I can't tolerate anymore and have banished. I still have a certain level of nostalgia and affection for them. But the one thing I do not like is boats, ships. I don't like them. I feel cooped up, even on a big cruise ship. I feel cooped up and imprisoned. I don't like being told where and when and what to eat, or what activities to do. I don't like any of that. I'm not a very. I mean, I may live my life in a good structured way, but I also like. Well, I appreciate that, Nate. I like you too. I live my life with a bit of structure, but I also like having the freedom to be able to go where and when I want to go and do what I want to do, eat what I want to eat, sleep when I want to sleep. And on cruise ships, it's just too regimented, and I'm not a big fan of oceans and cruising and all that. I've done it enough times to know that I really don't want to do it again. So, no, I'm not going on the slob cruise. That's been well established. It's got nothing to do with any of the people that are going on the ship. I made peace with the 2 or 3 people that I know are going on that cruise that I didn't really want to associate with. I've since made peace with them to a certain extent. But that's got nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with people that are going. It has everything to do with the fact that I'm not a big boat person. Yeah, that's true, Vic. I live in Florida, which is surrounded pretty much completely surrounded by ocean, or the Gulf of America. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of boats. I'm not. I get seasick in a bathtub. I'm not a big fan of boats. I don't go out on boats. I don't care if they're little itty bitty boats or they big, big oil burning, diesel burning tubs that are rank with diseases and old Shriner fat people from the Midwest. I don't like boats. So the slob cruise was pretty much a non-starter for me the minute it was announced. But again, on the record, for the record, let the record show, it has nothing to do with the people going on the cruise. Now, there's a certain percentage of you folks that won't believe me, but that's the truth. Nate the Great. The first cruise I went on did not exceed my expectations of a cruise. Maybe it's because all the ship features I just okay. Yeah. Well, I've been on 2 cruises. First cruise was a Carnival. The second cruise was a Royal Caribbean. They both occurred while I was married. The first cruise was taken by myself and my then wife while we still loved each other and we were still getting along and all that. It was a Carnival cruise. It left out of Miami, Port Everglades to be exact. And it was a cruise to Mexico, and then and first the Keys, and then Mexico, and then home. Fun cruise, shitty food. Nothing kills a vacation quicker than lousy food. And when I say to you with no hyperbole that the best meal that I had on that entire cruise was the meal I had in a Mexican cantina after we had toured the pyramids, which, by the way, it was 110 degrees out, so that was a lot of fun. The best meal I had was at a Mexican cantina in the entire cruise, and then followed by the meal that we had in Miami Beach, because we got off the ship at about 9 in the morning, and our flight home to Atlanta wasn't until like 8 o'clock that night. So we rented a car and drove around. I used to live in Miami, so I showed her places where I used to live and so that sort of thing. That doesn't say a hell of a lot about the boat being, and I admittedly, it was a Carnival ship, and those things are basically the Greyhound buses of the ocean, and they're all it's pretty much all garbage. But when your best meal is in Mexico, that's saying something pretty bad about the food on the boat, which was pretty foul. The second cruise was on a Royal Caribbean. Much better accommodations, much better food. The company I was keeping was for shit, because that was in 2003 and we were already on the downside of the end of our marriage. So why I agreed to go on a ship with her is beyond me. We basically spent the whole cruise avoiding each other. So you'll pardon me if I don't have a lot of great memories of being on a boat. Although the food was much better on the Royal Caribbean. The company was for shit. But that's neither here nor there. Let's see. So what else you want to talk about? I'm going to drop the link. Let's see if VicTube or Mr. Bug Eyes wants to join me in the StreamYard, or Sven or anybody else for that matter. Yeah, I'm not saying all that to kill time and say this. I'm not going on the slob cruise. Hey, Vic, how you doing? Hang on. Victor.
Yes, so no, TK did not go on the Vegas trip.
I thought she was going on the Vegas trip.
Yeah, I thought she was too, but no, it's just BA and Mrs. P.
Oh, okay. So just those two tearing up Las Vegas.
Yes.
Hello.
Guten Namen.
Yeah, I see. And
Guten Abend.
Yeah, Guten Abend. Yeah, Guten Abend.
I speak with an American accent. Give me a break.
Vic,
yeah, I sent. Yeah,
when did you send? Today?
Yeah, today. Well, I mean.
Yeah. Because I checked yesterday the emails and there was nothing there.
Right. Right when the show started, because I forgot that I remembered. Oh yeah, I've got it.
Of course you forgot. I told you.
I gotta send him my PayPal. Yeah, my PayPal. Is
you have to wait. Now you have to wait another week. You know that.
Yeah.
Wednesday is my bank day.
Right.
Okay.
And Wednesday, and right now where Sven is, it's Wednesday evening by now.
Yeah. Look,
That's right.
I wrote Saleen an email, and 10 minutes later, I had my answer.
Yeah.
That's service.
Yeah. So I don't.
And he got his money in between 2 days.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I don't know what
Yeah.
all you needed. I just gave you like a.
No, I only needed the PayPal address.
Okay.
This email address for the
Yeah.
PayPal.
Right. Yeah. It's
I need
some
nothing else,
at,
nothing more.
That's right. It's
Otherwise, I can send Saleen the $10, and if you meet him, he gives you the $10. No, was a joke. Saleen, I have a question.
Yeah, hopefully I have an answer.
Yes,
I have a really bad question for you.
Oh.
And I hope I don't hurt you. Can you explain to a dumb German with a cowbell where comes the hype for DJ Lagway from? The dude had 12 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
Yeah.
He can't throw a ball further than 20 yards.
Right.
And 9 of his touchdowns came against butter cakes. Not even cupcakes, butter cakes.
So what we need.
Well, I think I can help you there, Sven.
Yeah.
I'll explain it in one word. Exciting. Now, DJ Lagway is a freshman, or he was a freshman.
I know. He can get better, of course. Jaden Daniels was shit the year one.
I mean, for a freshman, now he may not have been, he may not have had the numbers that you would like, certainly. Don't forget, he didn't play the entire season. He only came in after Mertz was hurt.
Yeah, there's that.
I know.
So I think the thing is that let me back up. Let me give you a little history. Between the time of Tim Tebow and now, of all the quarterbacks that have put on the orange and blue, the only two, in my not so humble opinion, that were worth a damn, and I think Vic, as a disinterested third party, will probably back me up.
Kyle Trask and
Will Greer. Were the only two quarterbacks.
Greer was okay. Yeah.
I was gonna say Felipe Franks, but
yeah, and that will probably get you kicked off. Felipe Franks admittedly was exciting, but he was exciting in a negative context. In other words, the minute Felipe Franks dropped back to throw a pass, the collective Gator Nation would say, "Oh, here we go," every single time. And and I was not particularly thrilled when he got hurt and basically ended his Gator career on the floor of the Kentucky Stadium, whatever that place is called. But it did Kroger Field. Thank you. But it did give us Trask for a year and a half. But except for Will Greer, who did something stupid that killed his career in Florida, and Trask, whose brilliant talents were wasted by a defense that couldn't catch a cold. There hasn't been a decent quarterback in Gainesville except for those two since Tim Tebow graduated.
Right. Well,
and now you've got DJ Lagway, who comes in as a freshman phenom. And yeah, he's a freshman and he did freshman things, but he also managed to, with his feet and with his creativity, managed to extend drives and extend plays and make things happen that brought some excitement to a venue that had seen 3 losing seasons in a row, that was staring down the barrel of a 4th season in a row. and was mired in what I would argue to be slightly below mediocrity. And now, with his talent, admittedly not the greatest Gator team that ever stepped on the field, he took what I thought was going to be a 3-9 team and turned it into an 8-5 team. Won a couple of games that, quite frankly, I don't think they should have won.
Yeah.
Brought some excitement back to Gainesville, at least for the time being. And you know what? I remember do you remember the scene in The Matrix where Neo confronts the architect and he gives that a little 10-second soliloquy about hope being simultaneously humanity's greatest attribute and greatest failing?
I'm not moving.
Lagway, for better or for worse, gives Gainesville some hope. Now, that hope is, in my mind and in the mind of others, is tempered by the fact that, Lagway may have all the talent in the universe, but unfortunately he's playing underneath Sunbelt Billy, and nobody seems to really like that very much.
Well, I mean, Sunbelt Billy is improving. I mean, he's getting better. So,
well, here's the one thing about Napier that keeps me from wanting to drive up to Gainesville and drag him out of his house and kick him out of Alachua County. It's the man is a recruiting machine. The man can recruit. He's doing well on the recruiting. He's doing well so far in the portal, at least as far as, enticing people to come to a program that's that seems to be in perpetual rebuild mode. He's not Kirby Smart. He's not Nick Saban, although Nick Saban isn't even Nick Saban anymore. He's not an elite coach, but he's getting a little better. I wish he would hire an offensive coordinator. I mean, Lou said it best in that video the other day, or yesterday, I think it was, where he was lambasting the coach of Texas for trying to be an OC and an HC at the same time. You can't do it. You shouldn't do it. There's a reason most HCs don't do it. Sunbelt Billy needs to learn that lesson and stop being an OC and get an OC.
yeah.
Maybe it will even help him with recruiting.
On who Lagway reminds me?
Oh.
Prescott in year one. Prescott couldn't throw a ball, but he was infectious.
Yeah.
The team
and
runs through a wall for him. He was
Lagway
infectious.
can throw a ball. I mean, Lagway has proven that he does have the ability to throw. Yeah, he's not. His deep ball needs some work.
Yeah,
He's a freshman. He's a kid.
I mean, even Anthony Richardson could throw a ball.
Yeah, but Anthony Richardson was about as accurate as a Scud missile.
Yeah.
If you understand the reference.
I'm more accurate with the football as Richardson. I can promise you that.
Well, Richardson's main problem is he believes the hype that's heaped upon him. He thinks he's better than he is. He sucks. He sucked in college, and now he sucks in the No Fun League.
Yeah, did you know that he has the lowest completion percentage among starting quarterbacks?
Anthony Richardson is going to go down in No Fun League history as the 21st century version of Ryan Leaf.
Yeah, he's like a 47. He's like a 47% completion.
Richardson's a bust. He was a bust in college, and he's a bust in the pros.
Yeah, no,
he's going to be a big waste of money.
That's why I keep trying to tell the Colts that y'all just need to give up on Richardson. Yeah,
bench him and move on.
Yep.
But did I answer your question, Sven? I mean, it was a long-winded answer.
Yeah.
Only right. They did bench him. The only problem is is the other quarterback got on there is Joe Flacco. So
Yeah, that's true. He's kind of old, but
yeah.
I am interested in seeing what Lagway does as a sophomore. He spends the entire spring working with the ones. He's got about 3/4 of a year of work with the ones behind him. He knows the system. He's more used to the speed of the college game. I'm interested to see what he does in year 2. Now,
I wish him the best.
I am never going to say the man is a Heisman candidate. Hey, look who popped in.
Who's that? It's BA.
The Battle Angel.
Yep.
How are you, my dear? Good morning to you. It's afternoon in Vegas. Good afternoon in Vegas. I hope you're winning a lot of money and seeing a lot of shows, taking in the male strippers, that kind of thing. I hope you're having fun. I hope Mrs. Pete is having fun. What I'm interested in seeing in 2020, 2025, when the season rolls around. Oh, good for you. Which show I'm interested? What I'm interested in this coming football season is since Carson Beck has decided to fuck off out of Athens, and I guess he's going to Miami. Although I don't think he'll do anything great in Miami, unfortunately.
He's going to Miami.
What is Georgia going to do with oh God, what is his name?
Gunner Stockton.
Gunner Stockton.
Yeah.
Who is going to be in his 4th year in the program?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but he's only started one game.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's only started one game. He's played in 1.5 games. So
yeah, basically
that's how Georgia treats their QBs.
Yeah, 1.5 games. He came in the second half of the SEC championship.
Yep. They sign 5-star QBs and they don't play them because
we don't play them because there's someone else on the roster that's.
Well, I know, and what I'm saying is like there could be not this year because Carson Beck was the QB. Well, my point was that usually like a Stetson Bennett or whatever.
What about him?
Well, I'm just saying like to me it seems
What about Stetson Bennett?
Let me get to my point, Vic.
Well, get it out.
Basically, my point is whenever Georgia decides to make this dumb decision for a QB starter, which was not the case this year, but still, it means that I don't know. It's weird to me that they won't start a 5-star.
Well, Nate. I mean, Stetson Bennett won 2 natties. So.
But yeah, we got.
No, Stetson Bennett was on a team that won 2 natties. I don't think Bennett had a hell of a lot to do with it, but
right.
He had a lot to do with it. A lot.
We weren't winning the title with JT Daniels.
Well, let me ask a more poignant question. Gunner Stockton is going into his 4th year in the program. I don't know, is he a senior or?
I guess he's a redshirt junior.
Redshirt junior. Okay, so the man has 1.5 starts or 1.5 games to his credit, but he knows the system.
That's exactly what I mean.
But I mean, what's it going to do with that? I mean, is Georgia going to take a step back, or are they going to be able to persevere I mean, what does George's record look like with a quarterback that's basically starting from ground zero?
Yeah, we'll probably go 10-2 again.
Georgia and Kirby went berserk in the portal and bought some wide receivers.
Yeah, all right, we'll probably go 10-2 again. Yeah.
And Nate, to your point,
yeah,
every head coach in college runs his program a little bit different. Dan Mullen started Dak Prescott from day one. Kirby,
I get that. I get
Kirby
that.
has the philosophy. My quarterbacks have to learn the system, how we play, and then I start them. Let them sit 2 years. I mean, look, Arch Manning sit his ass 2 years in
He's going to get his shot now, isn't he?
And plus, he was a 5-star recruit. So
yeah, Arch Manning was the highest recruit what Texas ever had. He was at 99.4.
Right.
And he sat down for 2 years.
I mean, still think it's funny as hell that Dan Mullen is going to be coaching Lou NLV. I think that's the funniest thing I've heard all year.
I tell you what.
And you know what's funny?
What?
Uncle Lou, well, his second favorite team, I guess, is Lou NLV or UNLV.
That's what I said. Lou NLV is now being coached by the hated Dan Mullen. I think that's
but here's my point, or here's my news. Alex Orgy is going to be a star for UNLV. Not even kidding. You're welcome.
Okay, he transferred to UNLV.
Yep.
UNLV has a top 5, without any question, a top 5 OC in Dan Mullen, offensive mind. He's absolute top 5. There's absolute no question about this. So
I think Dan Mullen might actually do pretty well at UNLV.
He will. And I tell you what,
but there's a very good reason why he'll do okay at UNLV.
They have money
because there'd be absolutely no expectations on him to do anything.
Yeah.
No, UNLV has money.
Yeah, but they don't have much of a team.
Wait. And UNLV has the plan to go to the Power 4.
It doesn't matter, but Sven, you're missing my point. UNLV, in the history of the football team, has never done anything and has no expectations to do anything. Whereas when Mullen came to Florida after being the offensive coordinator of a national championship team, everyone expected him to come back to Florida and start making Florida ready for natties, and he didn't do it. He's going to UNLV, and if he wins 8-9 games a year, he'll be set for life because nobody expects UNLV to do
and that's why it's called high hopes.
Yes.
Mullen won 31 games in the first 3 years in regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he couldn't recruit worth shit. And
it's the number 8 and the number 13. Stop. That's a lie. The number 8.
It's not a lie. His recruits suck.
Yeah, Dan Mullen was doing good up until 2021. But
the number 8 recruiting class is not good enough for Florida.
I mean,
he had the number 8 recruiting class in Florida. You can look it up.
Yes.
Yeah, but your number 8 recruiting class, they couldn't do anything
and the
with
next year, he had a number 13. And it was only the number 13 because a 5-star went, he decommitted and went to, was it Ohio State or?
Yeah, probably.
A big time. It was a big time program.
Okay.
Well, it was a wide receiver. And with him, he lands easy in the top 10. Dan Mullen is not a bad recruiter. He had tons. tons of first-round picks at Mississippi State. Tons of them. Tons. Fletcher Cox, Chris Jones, Simmons, Adams. Die list is endless.
Well, then why did
Dan
all his
Mullen
recruits turn into busts?
Dan Mullen is not a bad recruiter, and Dan Mullen was the last head coach at Florida who kicked Georgia's ass. Never happened since then. Kyle Trask, Pitts, and
Tony.
Kadarius, Tony. These three guys kicked Kirby's ass. This was the last time Georgia lost to Florida.
Wow, that's sad.
The last time. And
then in 2021, he couldn't follow up. He couldn't recruit. He got nobody to improve a piss poor defense, which is what he really needed to do to fix things in Gainesville. He couldn't recruit a new quarterback to replace Trask, who left for the No Fun League, and his team fell apart. Yeah. And they went 4-8?
Yeah.
After nearly winning the SEC and being on the verge of going to the playoffs, his subsequent year was a 4-8 season with no offense, no defense, not developing a quarterback to replace Trask, no receivers, no running game, and no hope.
One bad year.
No wonder he got fired.
He had one bad year.
No, he didn't have one bad year, Sven. He had one absolute fucking disaster of a year.
I thought he went
he lost to Vanderbilt, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, ask Alabama.
I know that.
He lost to Vanderbilt for the first time since 1945.
Well,
Kirby Smart lost to Vanderbilt.
But we had a winning streak in Gainesville of beating Vanderbilt that extended all the way back to Truman, for God's sake, and we lost to Vanderbilt at home.
Georgia
on homecoming.
On homecoming.
Yeah, Georgia lost to Vanderbilt one time in 2016.
Yeah, I know.
Before that, it was the last time they beat them was 1855 or something like that.
What?
Yeah, you know what I mean, Vic.
Who beat who? When Vanderbilt? No, they beat us in 2013. Yeah.
Look, you do not lose to Vanderbilt in the swamp at homecoming. You don't do that. And lose to Kentucky in the same year.
2006.
You don't do that, Sven. You don't combine losses to two easily beatable teams and put a team on the field that can't get out of its own way on offense, has no quarterback, has no running game, and whose defense looks like they've never seen a football before.
Okay,
you don't survive that.
Let me ask you a question. Who do you rather have at your head coach right now?
Oh, here we go with that bullshit game. Okay, let's play the game.
Or Napier? Who is better? Mullen or Napier? Who's better?
Mullen.
That's like asking me if I want to have amoebic dysentery or botulism. I mean, come on.
I don't want to make you sad.
Yeah, well, who would I rather have? I honestly, you know, I would. And this will shock you, or maybe not. But I would rather have, at this point, Napier, for the simple fact that Napier, for all his faults and for all his not looking like he knows what he's doing for the first little bit of his Gator career, is starting to show signs of life, and he's not a clown. Mullen was a clown, and he can't recruit. Napier can recruit and is not a clown. So I'd rather have Napier.
We will see.
But again, it's like asking me if I want to have my left leg broken or my right leg broken. I mean, come on.
And by the way, Mullen's defensive coordinator in UNLV is Zach Arnett.
Oh, you mean it's not going to be Grantham? I figured he would have brought Grantham in.
No,
Wow.
it's Zach Arnett, the guy who ruined Mississippi State.
Oh, well, that figures he's getting the old band back together, right?
But he was the
doing?
defensive coordinator under Mike Leach, and the defense was good. Was really
good
good.
for Mississippi State. That's
But he has no clue as head coach. He was a first-time head coach, and it was a quick decision to make because we had 12 days later the bowl game against Illinois in Tampa, and what can you do? They promoted him, and
I still think y'all should have given Arnett another year, but
no. And I tell you why. We had 32 seniors on the team, and under Leach, and I'm dead serious. We won 10 games this year. We were loaded as hell. We had the best quarterback in all of SEC. He threw 4,540 touchdowns in his sleep. We had 2 absolute top wide receivers. We had 2 top running backs who proved later on in the national championship that they can play, like Dylan Johnson, who ran for nearly 200 yards against Texas in the semifinals last year. Remember this guy, Dylan Johnson? He was the running back for Mike Leach, and the other was Woody Marks. He had 1,300 yards at USC with no offensive line.
Sven, what is your point? Make a point.
Right. The point is
I think UNLV
Sorry. Right.
latest in 2027, you see them in the playoffs.
Oh, God, I'll take that bet against. Todd Grantham, by the way, in case you're wondering why Oklahoma State's defense is so piss poor, Grantham is the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma State.
Wow. Wow.
That's why Oklahoma State can't play defense.
Nate,
What?
I have a question.
A lot of sense. I think that Sven is getting at is that it's not Arnett's fault.
Okay, I want to take that bet with Sven. I want that bet right now. $50. He says that UNLV will be in the playoffs in 2027.
What?
I say bunk.
Deal.
Bunk, sir.
Deal.
I'll take that bet.
Deal.
Somebody write that down because I'll forget.
You don't have to forget. I remember you.
Okay. I hope I'm still alive in 2027.
Then,
I'm old too.
What are you gonna ask me?
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
Did you watch the game Arizona State against Texas, Nate?
Oh, me? Yeah.
Okay. Who was the best player on the
good
field?
game.
It was Scatterboo.
Can you believe?
The best playoff game from this year is the Texas and Arizona State by far.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean the player in this game, the best player in this game.
It was
Texas against
Scatterboo.
Arizona State. Who was
Yeah.
the
Oh,
best
yeah.
player?
Scatterboo.
Skyblue and Arizona State. Yes.
So,
Can you imagine if Scatterboo was on a team that actually was any good?
No.
guys, listen, Nate. Can you believe me?
Arizona State was good.
That Cam Scatterboo is ranked. He was the second best running back per
The nation or just country?
Yes.
per yards. Only Ashton Genty had more. Yeah, he had 1,711 yards rushing.
Dang.
And he is ranked 10th in the actual 10th in running backs in the draft. It's 10th best running back and as number 94 in the rankings.
Right, ranked by who?
ESPN.
ESPN. Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's a source I trust completely.
Piper or something, or Todd McShay or one of those, right? Yeah.
Isn't Scadaboo's done, isn't he? He's going pro now.
Scadaboo goes pro.
Yep.
So here's the list. I give you the list.
Okay.
Running backs. Number 1, Ashton Chanty. I have nothing to tell. He can be number 1. I had absolutely no problem with that.
Yeah, me
Number
neither.
2, Omarion Hampton. Hampton is number 3 for me.
North
Number
Carolina.
3,
Yeah, he's pretty good.
North Carolina. Caleb Johnson, Iowa.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Nowhere in hell is he number 3. Number 4, Judkins, Ohio State. He had 700 yards.
Boo.
Number 5, Quinton Judkins from Ohio State, former Ole Miss.
He wasn't even Ohio leading rusher.
Yeah, he had 700 yards. Number 5, Nick Singleton from Penn State. He's really good. I give him top 5.
Yeah.
Absolutely no problem with that.
Yeah.
Number 6, Jordan James from Oregon. He's not.
Okay.
Jordan.
Did you see him in the playoffs against Ohio State?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay. So number 7, Henderson, Ohio State.
Who?
Trevion Henderson.
So wait.
Ohio State.
Wait, Judkins is ranked ahead of Henderson?
Yeah. Judkins is 4th and Henderson is number 7.
What the heck? Didn't Henderson had more yards than Judkins?
Yeah. So number 8, I can't believe my eyes. A thing called Trevor Etienne, Georgia, ahead of Cam Scadaboo.
Etienne?
Etienne is a super bust of the highest order.
All right,
an absolute super bust.
Where's
Etienne was a bust at Florida and Georgia. It's hard to be a bust at 2 schools.
Where's Dylan Sampson?
Dylan Sampson is ranked 10th.
Okay, wow. Yeah,
Scadaboo is ranked here now 9th.
Yeah, I'm calling bullshit on Dylan Sampson.
Number 10, Dylan Sampson. Number 11, Ollie Gordon, Oklahoma State. This is okay. Ollie Gordon was last year's best running back, but he didn't deliver this year. He had nothing. So,
who is playing around with dishes?
And the guy from Michigan who was last year and 2 years ago.
Oh, Donovan Edwards.
Donovan Edwards is ranked 17th.
Yeah, he had a bad year again. So
yeah. So guys, Scadaboo is ranked 9th. Dylan Sampson is ranked 10th. And before that is Etienne, James, Judkins, and John. This is an absolute joke.
Yeah, that's laughable.
How would Scadaboo rank below Etienne?
I know. I know.
Well, I wouldn't say it's bullshit.
Below
I think it's yeah.
But look, guys, I copy it. Where is my StreamYard? Private chat. Zack. Zack. Here is the link in the private chat. Look it up. This is absolutely amazing.
I believe you, Sven. I'm just thinking of in what universe is an absolute bust in 2 different schools like Etienne ranked better than Scadaboo.
I tell you what,
Scadaboo and Sampson.
Scadaboo. I mean, Scadaboo is
the beast.
Number 1. He's number 1 or number 2.
Yeah, I don't know.
If someone comes to me and says Ashton Chanty is number 1, I can live with that. I agree. If someone comes and says Scadaboo is number 1, I agree.
Yeah,
I have no problem. Number 3 for me, without any question, is Dylan Sampson from Tennessee. Yeah, there is no way around this. Dylan Sampson is an absolute truck.
Yes.
And without Dylan Sampson, Tennessee wins 5 games.
Yes.
In 2024.
Damn.
Yes.
Did you saw Nico? Nico is a bust. Nico's his deep throw over 20 yards. He has a completion rate of 19%. 19.
That's worse than Milton, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Oh my God.
Yes, who was the guy in Auburn? Peyton Thorne is a better deep thrower than Nico.
Damn.
And he gets $8 million. $8 million. This is crazy. I mean, Nico can run, and Nico, it was his first season. Let's see. It's the same with Legway. Let's see. Maybe he gets better. Maybe he works on it. And as I said, Dak Prescott, year one, he was an absolute. He could run over people because he's strong and he had 235 pounds, but he couldn't throw. His throwing came in 2014 when we went to number one. And Mullen told him, okay, guy, if you want to start here, we have to work on your throwing. And he did it in the off season, and it worked out pretty well. He's the second highest paid professional athlete in the US, behind Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid signed a 3-year, $95 contract with the 76ers and gets $65 million, and Dak gets $60 million a year.
Not bad. No.
Yeah, and I mean, these people from ESPN, they must be crazy. Let me look the quarterbacks. I'm so cool. So number 1, Sanders. Number 2, Cam Ward. Number 3, Quinn Ewers. Number 4, Carson Beck. Number 5. Listen to this. Number 5. Jalen Milroe.
Who?
Alabama. Jalen Mildew. And behind him, I give you 4 names. 4 names. Number 6, Gabriel. Number 7, Dart. Number 8, Curtis Rourke, the quarterback from Indiana. And number 9, Kyle McCord, who had an absolute sensation season. Kyle McCord was the best quarterback in all of NCAA in 2024.
Wow.
The fruit won
What?
10 games, 10-3. The fruit, Syracuse. Guys, he didn't play on Miami or on Texas or Georgia with 155 stars. He had nobody. He had nobody and threw for nearly 5,000 yards.
Pretty
He
good.
was sensational.
Yeah,
And
I don't understand the hype behind Shador, other than that he's Dion's son. I mean,
Shador is a really, really good quarterback.
yeah, he's good, but I don't think he's the best quarterback in this draft. I think Cam Ward is the best quarterback in this draft.
Yeah, a quitter is not a good quarterback.
There are 3 guys. I mean, everybody knows I hate Ole Miss, but I have to give it to Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart is a damn good quarterback.
I would probably put Shador at 3. I think I would have Cam Ward number 1, Dylan Gabriel number 2, and Shador number 3.
Yeah. I mean, Shador has one flaw, and this is he holds the ball too long in his hand. And this will kill him in the NFL. If he does this, they chop his head off.
He had no offensive line in Colorado.
Yeah. I tell you what, any of this elite edge rushers in the NFL, he holds the ball too long for 1 second. He's hurt in game 1. They kill him.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And this is what Kyle McCord, he was sacked, I think, only 9 times the whole year because he only needs 1 second or 1.5 seconds to throw the ball.
Yeah, he's going to be worried that Shador is going to be seeing ghosts from the last 2 years of having no offensive line at Colorado. he's gonna be seeing ghosts. Yeah.
But I mean, what has Jalen Milroe to do with the top 5 quarterbacks in this draft? Or Carson Beck? This is unbelievable. Carson Beck and Jalen Milroe are for me. I mean, I rate for his athletic ability. I rate Milroe higher as Carson Beck. Believe it or not, Milroe can run. And if he is on fire, he is on fire.
Well, good. Maybe he should play back in the NFL then.
No, he should play tight end.
He's too big to be a running back, Vic.
He's not.
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe is 6'3", 6'4". He weighs 250 pounds. Did you see this guy? He's a monster. He looks like Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
He's an absolute freak.
But the average height for a running back is like 5'11" or whatever.
Yeah, where do they have Quinn Ewers ranked?
3.
What?
Yeah. It's Sanders 1, Cam Ward 2, Quinn Ewers 3, Carson Beck 4, Jalen Milroe 5, Dylan Gabriel 6, Jackson Dart 7.
How in the hell?
Indiana.
Well,
8,
Carson
Kyle
Beck.
McCord 9, and Tyler Shaw from Louisville number 10.
Well, I mean, we can cross off Beck because he's no longer in the draft. So
yeah, of course he's not. But I mean,
how is Quinn Ewers number 3?
He's number 3.
How?
I don't know. As I said, I hate Ole Miss, but for me, the third best quarterback in this draft is, Jackson Dart or Kyle McCord. I mean, Jackson Dart did it 2 years at Ole Miss. Kyle McCord did it 2 years in Syracuse, or 1 year.
1 year at Syracuse. Yeah.
But I mean, Syracuse is not a powerhouse, and he had nobody, absolute nobody. Jackson Dart had Trey Harris, and Trey Harris is a bona fide first-round wide receiver.
Yeah, that's bad.
And I tell you what, Lane Kiffin doesn't know this. Austin Simmons is a really good quarterback. His 5-star freshman who comes now, but he ain't no Jackson Dart. And he has no wide receivers, nowhere near on a level like last year. Ole Miss is not a playoff team. They win maybe 8 games. Maybe. Mark my words. Yeah. This is these ESPN people are absolute crazy. Wide receivers, let's see. Yeah. Guess who is number 1 on the wide receivers, Vic? Your buddy from Rollercado, Travis Hunter.
Okay. Well, what we have to decide then is which one do we keep? Do we keep the one that's medium or small?
Huh?
How's Vic doing?
Yeah, number 2 is McMillan from Arizona. Number 3 is Trey Harris. Number 4 is Ekbuka from Ohio State. Number 5, Williams, TCU. Number 6, Stewart from Oregon. I never heard his name. Number 7, Luther Burden from Mizzou. Tess Johnson. Number 8, Isaiah Bond. Number 9. Isaiah Bond had one good play in his whole career, and this was his 4th and 34 against Auburn. This was his only play in his whole career. Otherwise, he was a nobody. He's ranked number 9. Brew McCoy is 19th from Tennessee. Kyron Lacey from LSU is number 13. This is an absolute joke. Kyron Lacey is 1,000 times better. Is 90% on that list.
Well, I think what the reason why he might have fallen was because of that that car accident that he was involved in, where he was
Who?
driving in
Who?
Kyron Lacey, where he was
Yeah.
like driving in the wrong lane on the highway, and then other vehicle had to swerve to avoid him and ended up crashing into another vehicle, and then
Oh.
after that happened, Lacey then fled the scene. So yeah, and
I don't know this.
someone died. Yeah, and he
Oh, that's bad.
he fled the scene. Yeah.
When was this?
This was like I don't know, like a week ago, I guess. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a few days ago that I.
Oh, recently.
Yeah, it was very recent. Yeah.
Oh, this is bad. Nobody will touch him.
Oh, somebody will touch him.
Yeah. And I mean, who have tight ends?
I mean, if Ray Lewis could do what he did or allegedly do it, or do what he allegedly did and go through all that heat and then come back and win 2 Super Bowls.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess he was never convicted, but
Yeah.
no, but he still had to go through that whole publicity of a murder trial.
He did.
Or what about that guy who beat his girlfriend senseless in an elevator?
Yeah, I know.
Cornerback.
I know.
Karma.
Oh, cornerback.
All right, who's got the dog going off in the background?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Who let the dogs out?
Guys, did not Kobe Bryant was a cornerback from Cincinnati when they went to the playoffs?
Kobe Bryant was a basketball player.
Yeah, I know the Black Mamba, but he's with a double E. But there was another Kobe Bryant on the Cincinnati team. There were 2 corners. One was a first-round pick, a top 5 pick. I forgot his name. And the other was Kobe Bryant. And now is another Kobe Bryant cornerback from Kansas. There are many corners Kobe Bryant here. By the way, Travis Hunter is not listed here as cornerback. He's only listed as wide receiver. Will Johnson is from Michigan, is the number 1 corner.
I don't think Hunter's going to be a 2-way player in the No Fun League. I really don't think that no GM or no coach with a brain is going to let their one of their star players play every down.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. But he played every down out of necessity at Colorado.
Yeah, but there's no such thing as a 2-way player in the No Fun League anymore.
Right, you're right. They don't need a 2-way player because they got because they got cornerbacks on the roster and wide receivers. So
guys, the overall rankings. I have now the overall from this crazy list.
Mm-hmm.
Guess on what place is Cam Ward listed? On what position?
Cam Ward is a quarterback, right?
Yeah, Cam Ward, a quarterback from Miami. You have the draft. You have the number 1 overall pick, the number 2, number 3, number 5, number 10, number 20, number 30. At what position is Cam Ward here listed?
Quarterback. So first.
No.
Second.
No. Nowhere near. Nowhere near.
Fourth. Fifth.
Oh, you can count a long time before you get there.
7th. Okay, fine. Just tell us then.
18th.
Okay, and what team is he going to?
No. It's only the overall ranking. The number 1 is Abdul Carter from Penn State. The number 2 is Travis Hunter. The number 3 is Mason Graham. Number 4 Number 4 is Ashton Chanty. Number 5 is Will Johnson. Number 6 is Michael Williams. I heard this name before.
Yeah.
But I don't like his team.
Yeah.
Number 7, Nick Scotton, the best edge rusher. I take Scotton over Williams and James Pierce.
Well, let me ask you a question before you keep reading. What is Travis Hunter projected to go as, receiver or cornerback?
Wide receiver.
Right. Well, right.
That makes sense.
Wide receiver, number 2.
Yeah. I think he's
and the first quarterback listed here is number 9, Shedeur Sanders. This list makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the prime effect. Yeah.
It's
the prime effect.
I tell you what, Shedeur Sanders will never ever go number 9 overall. He goes number 1, number 2, or number 3 in the same Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Ward and Sanders are gone in the first 3 picks.
Yeah.
Oh, and number 98 is Scatterboo. Number 97, Cam Scatterboo is listed as the 97th best player in this draft.
Wow.
Can you believe this stuff? Number 100. There's 100 better players right now in all of college who play better at Cam Scatterboo. He had 240 yards against a top 5 defense and threw as a running back a 40-yard touchdown bomb. Can you believe this stuff?
Well, yeah, I can believe it because Ken Scatterboo plays for Arizona State. The vast majority of people who watch college football probably are not watching college football from, the Mountain and Pacific time zones and so on. So they probably don't know a hell of a lot about Scatterboo except for the one game he played in the playoffs.
They do.
Maybe when he does the combines and all that, and he starts putting up some numbers and some people start paying attention, his draft stock will go up a little more.
Yeah, things change after the combine. Otherwise, they wouldn't have a combine.
I mean, when you play out on the West Coast or in the Pacific time zone or the Mountain time zone, the old Pac-12 territory or the Mountain West territory or whatever, most of the people, east of the Rockies don't know shit about your programs or anything like that because mostly they're not on TV. So nobody sees, nobody hears, nobody knows. And it isn't until the combines start up that people start learning about, oh, gee, where the hell did that guy come from? Oh, he played out in Arizona State. He played out in USC. He played out for, Utah. Nobody. Who the hell ever heard of Urban Meyer until he came to Florida?
Nobody.
Utah. Nobody had him on their radar as a coach worth anything except hardcore college football people. Yeah, but he comes to Florida. He's in the SEC, and all of a sudden he starts tearing shit up. Now all of a sudden he's the second coming of Bear Bryant, for God's sake.
Yeah, he came from Fresno State or something like that, huh?
Yeah, nobody ever heard of these people out in west of the Rockies.
Yeah,
players and coaches and all that. Nobody ever hears about these people until combine time, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, where did that guy come from?
Do you know the name Isaac Smith?
No.
Okay.
Isaac.
Okay. I look it up for you before.
Just like these hidden gems that come out of
Isaac Smith. Isaac Smith. Tackles 2024. most. And
Are
see.
there really only 4 people in this stream?
I have no clue.
Well, according to StreamYard, there's only 4 people in here.
Thanks, Ben.
Here we go. Here we go.
What the hell is going on in Nebraska?
What?
Technical leaders.
What is on in Nebraska?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's going on at your house?
Oh, mine? It's fucking cold.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's you had to know it's north, so it's cold as fuck here. So,
Well, there's people in the background shouting, "Here we go, and there's dogs barking.
okay.
So y'all do y'all think that that Arch Manning is going to be good, or
maybe, I don't know. We have no idea what he's going to be capable of. He never started. So
Arch Manning will be good.
I can't judge right now because he hasn't played or started at all. By the way, that's me. That's me playing Madden. So, well,
his two uncles will make sure that he can play. I mean, he is a Manning.
I know that, but we haven't seen him play fully.
he's going to be good? Yeah, he'll probably go on to win a Super Bowl or two. But
yeah. I mean, against Mississippi State, yours played the first 3 quarters, and then Sark took him out because it was a close game, and he didn't trust yours to win the game. It was a 6-point game, and Manning played the fourth quarter, and we lost by 15 or something like that.
Did Archie Manning ever win a Super Bowl?
No, I don't think so.
The granddad won.
Okay, he won
2 or 3. He didn't not only win 1. He was really good.
Right. So what team did he play for?
Giants? No.
I look it up.
Archie Manning? Archie Manning didn't win shit.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, Peyton and
Eli.
They won 2 apiece, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Wait, I look it up.
They did.
Here.
Archie Manning was perpetually playing on losing teams.
Yeah.
He played for the Saints for a while.
He didn't do anything in the NFL. No.
He barely did anything in college.
No, he did not. He did not win a Super Bowl.
No, that was his kids.
He played for the Saints, the Oilers, Houston Oilers, and the Vikings from 71 to 84.
Yeah, he played on perpetual losers.
And he was bad. He had 125 touchdowns and 173 interceptions.
Damn.
Quarterback rating under 70. 23,000 yards.
And yet, the name Archie Manning is spoken with reverence for some reason. I don't get it.
Well, yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
and he is in the Saints Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Saints Hall of Fame. Terrific.
In Ole Miss.
That's like being called the greatest hockey player in Ecuador.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's funny.
I hate winter.
I love winter. I'm not honestly winter.
Why do you hate winter, Saleen?
It's cold.
Well, you were born in Boston.
Well, you're in Florida, so
it's still cold here right now.
So
yeah, I remember when I posted my my snow video, and you said no thanks. I'll take 72 degrees.
Well, it was 72 that day. Right now, it's in the upper 50s.
Upper
that
50s.
ain't nothing.
Saleen, we can change places. We have snowfall since 5 days. We have now
Damn.
around 9 inches. And that's not much for Berlin. And it's -3 Celsius, what is around 30 degrees.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll
Oh.
pass.
You pass El Paso, the old town in Texas, El Paso.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely,
30 degrees,
definitely
40
don't want to trade.
degrees ain't
Yeah,
nothing.
I think you definitely don't want to trade places with El Paso, but
Or me.
I mean, I guess if you think Florida is cold, then yeah, El Paso's got to
No,
be really
actually, as
got
Alaskans,
El
out.
Paso is in Texas. It's on the Mexican border. It's warm
It
there.
got them out. Yeah, I know, but it's like up in the mountains though. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably cold in El Paso. But
I will
yeah,
go to the mountains in 2 weeks.
cool.
Back to Switzerland.
fuck. Sorry.
8 feet snow.
You're
No,
going to
Mm.
Switzerland again?
Yeah. Cost me nothing. I pay a train ticket. It cost
Yeah,
me
how do
50
how
bucks.
do they keep the snow off off the tracks? How do they keep the tracks from getting all icy?
No, I sent the snow to Athens, Georgia.
No, I'm asking about the trains, how they keep like the rails from getting icy.
They have a heat system.
Probably not.
Yes.
Georgia,
I
they're
mean,
just used to winter. Like,
9 inches snow is nothing. For 9 inches snow, they don't turn the heaters on the railways on, but they have the high speed trains in Germany. The trains roll with the high speed trains roll between 250 and 300 kilometer an hour. That's around 200 miles or 170.
Yeah,
And
yes, how fast as the NASCARs go. So
yeah, like that. And you can go in 6 hours from Berlin to Zurich in Switzerland for 50 bucks.
yeah.
And
Of a NASCAR, we got the Daytona 500 coming up, but
yeah.
in the this is the Daytona is on the east of the Panhandle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There
also,
is-
by
On the
way,
left side of the Panhandle is St. Pete and Tampa, and on the right side is Daytona. Is that right?
yeah,
no,
Yeah.
no.
Daytona is kind of a bit
St. Pete and Tampa are
north.
on the West Coast.
Yeah,
Yeah, I said Tampa and St. Pete is on the west coast, and Daytona is on the east coast.
yes,
No,
Daytona.
you said St. Peter on the East Coast.
Yeah, no, they're on
Sorry.
Daytona's the East Coast. Yep, Miami is the East Coast. Yep,
And
Jackson.
also, Daytona is more north. It's a little bit more north
Yeah.
of
The
when
Panhandle.
you go from Tampa, you go up I-4, and I-4 kind of meanders upward as it goes eastward.
Yeah,
So Daytona is more north in the state than
Daytona. Yeah, Daytona is more toward Jacksonville, but yeah.
well,
And Vic,
not that far.
Miami is not south. Miami is North Cuba.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yes, Miami is North Cuba.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
I was one time in Miami. I think I saw 250,000 Cubans and 3 Americans.
That's about
Maybe.
right.
Yeah, I guess depending on where you go, but yeah.
I have no clue. It's years ago.
Miami is very heavily Cuban, Haitian, Dominican.
Puerto Rico.
A lot of people from the Caribbean islands have moved when they go to America, they end up in Miami.
Yeah.
So Miami has got a heavy Cuban population, but then again, so does Tampa. Ever heard of Ybor City?
No.
Look it up. The
Ybor
problem
City.
with Ybor City, Y-B-O-R, Ybor, Y-B-O-R.
Yeah, have
The
you?
problem with Ybor is it also attracts it's got a great nightlife. Or so I'm led to believe. I don't go to Ybor at night.
Okay, you got. Okay.
It's a little bit too young of a crowd for me at this point. But they also have a problem with shootings.
Okay, so have you ever been to Ybor?
Only during the daytime.
Only during the daytime. Okay.
I think I went once a while ago at night. Like I said, it's a younger crowd. It's not really my thing, and it ain't my thing. So I don't go to Ybor. That's somewhere around Nate's age range. The 20-somethings and 30-somethings, they go to Ybor.
Yeah.
They go there to get hammered, and great. Go there and get hammered. That's wonderful.
Where I live in this part of Berlin, we have around in this part of Berlin, Kreuzberg, we have around 25% Turks, but they all live here for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And it's pretty damn good. Turks are good people. I like them.
Miami is has got a heavy Cuban population. I used to live in Miami back in the 70s. Family moved from Boston to Miami.
Yeah, they got all those people that fled from Castro, but
yeah. Actually, the truth be known, we as a family, we left Miami in 1979. We literally beat the Mariel boat lift by 3 months.
Ready.
Mariel boat lift, for those of you who don't know, is when it's also known as Carter's Curse. Big FU to Florida when Carter decided to let any Cuban that could get to Miami got there. So Castro basically emptied his jails and his asylums, stuck them all on boats, and said, "Miami is 90 miles that way. Go get them." And Miami turned into. Okay, if anyone ever remembered the opening part of the movie Scarface,
nope.
Yeah, it was Hollywoodized up a bit, but there really were riots in the immigration camps that were under I-95. There really were riots in those that started in Miami when all these Cubans were dumped into Miami back in 1979. And they let the worst of the worst into Miami. Guys that made what was his name? Montana. What was his first name? I forgot. Al Pacino's character. That kind of person was what was dumped.
Criminals like criminals.
Tony Montana. Thank you, man. Tony Montana. That kind of element was the kind of element that Castro dumped into Miami back during the Mariel boat lift.
Yeah.
And Carter basically said to the people down in Miami, let him in. And he wrecked Miami for a generation.
That's why it's what do you call it? A fuckhole or hell, what we call it.
No.
Shithole.
Yeah, shithole. Yeah, shithole. Yeah.
Now, the Cubans that came to Miami in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s,
yeah,
they were anti-Castro patriots. And, they assimilated into Miami, into America as best they could, and created generations of entrepreneurial Cuban Americans.
Yeah.
And Miami was a fantastic place to be back then because it was a growing, thriving city.
Yeah.
Then you get the dregs from the Mariel boat lift and turn Miami into a shithole for 2 generations. And Miami is still recovering from that. And then of course, you throw in the Haitians and the Dominicans that refuse to assimilate at all, and
Yeah, what's
that
wrong? What's wrong
whole
with
part of Florida is just
what's
turned into a
what's wrong with the Haitians and Dominicans?
No, there's nothing wrong with them except that they came over. They're non-skilled, uneducated. They didn't speak the language, and it took them an inordinate amount of time to assimilate into the American culture. It took them a long time to learn the language,
Yes.
create job skills, et cetera, et cetera. Now, those communities, the Haitian community in Miami and the Dominican community in Miami, are communities that are on the rise. But it took them a generation or two to get there. And of course, they conflicted with the Cuban community that didn't want them there. And Miami turned into a war zone.
Yeah. Look, Vic, it's very simple. If you are a doctor or has a PhD in El Salvador, Mexico, Haiti, wherever, you have a good life, you have a good job, you have good money, the weather is better. You never will leave your country.
Right.
Never. You have no reason to leave El Salvador if you have $6,000 a month, a good life. You have a good education.
Well, you did have a reason to leave El Salvador at one point. Nowadays, El Salvador is actually a better place to be. But back in the 80s,
you know what I mean.
The 70s and the 80s, with the socialists took over, the communists took over. If you were an educated man or woman, you got the hell out of Dodge before they killed you.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
now, would you stop farting, please? Jesus Christ, Nate, come on. Nowadays, I mean, if you were an educated Nicaraguan or El Salvadoran or Honduran or something like that, you got the hell out of those countries because you couldn't make any money there, and the communist government there didn't want you because you were a threat. Since those communist governments have been removed. Being an educated and prosperous Honduran, Nicaraguan, El Salvadoran is a good thing to be.
Yeah. You have no reason to leave your country.
Then you wanted to get out, but now you want to go back.
I mean, this is one of the reasons why I'm still in Germany. I mean, I'm retired now, and I could go. We have a family in the US, as you know, and I could live in the US. But the reason is, if I get injured or sick in the US, it costs me thousands and thousands of dollars. If I go here in the hospital, let's make it easy. You have grandkids, Saleen.
No,
if your daughter you have grandkids. If your daughter gives birth to a child in the US, it costs you at least $5,000.
Without actually, no, because I had insurance when both my kids were born, and it cost me almost nothing.
Yeah, in Germany,
I think the first one cost me about $150. I think the second one cost me $200.
Yeah, back in the days. Now it's a bit expensive.
I know what point you're going to make. You're going to make the point that European cradle-to-grave socialism with state-run medicine, it makes it cheaper for you to be sick in Europe than it is in America. Point taken. The problem is your cradle-to-grave socialism comes with incredibly crushing tax rates.
There you go.
And I'd rather pay our tax rates and buy my own insurance than pay your crushing tax rates and live my life not being able to create any wealth because the state's going to confiscate it from me. That's just the way I'm wired. Now you're wired differently, and I'm not going to say
No.
you're wrong. You lived in that system your entire life, and God bless you.
Forever.
I've lived in my system the entire life, and it's allowed me to create a certain level of wealth that I can then pass on to my children. So it's a difference. It's a different system here than it is there, and I'd rather live here. And also, when I was in the medical field, as a place that, as a person that ran multiple medical offices at various points in my career, I can tell you that during certain times of the year here in Florida, we had a lot of patients that came in from Canada, and a lot of patients that came in what we called medical tourists from Germany, UK, France, etc., that came over here during parts of the year when they could to get medical procedures done that their governments paid for with their insurance, but they couldn't get. I remember talking. I talked to one guy. It was 100 of them that said, they came over here to get their knee replaced or their hip replaced or whatever, because the medical offices I dealt with were specialized in knee and hip and shoulder replacements. They couldn't get it done. They were on waiting lists for. One guy was on a waiting list for 2.5 years and never got that knee replacement done. I think he was from Ottawa, which is the nation's capital. He could get his knee replaced, but he came over here. He was seen by a doctor who said, "Yep, you need a knee replacement." Scheduled an appointment with an orthopedic surgeon. He said, "Yep, you need a knee replacement." He was on the table. The whole process between the first appointment and being on the table was a week and a half.
Yeah.
And the only reason it took a week and a half was he had to schedule surgical time. Yeah. And he was in therapy he was inpatient therapy for 10 days. He was outpatient therapy for 4 weeks. And his entire vacation was a 2-month vacation. And by the time he was done with his vacation, he was 3 weeks post therapy and walked onto the airplane, whereas he got off the airplane in Sarasota in a wheelchair because he couldn't walk anymore. But he walked onto the airplane and go back to Ottawa.
Good for him.
Ottawa.
That's the difference in the systems.
Ottawa.
Cradle to grave medical care. Where the doctors can't make any money, and there's a waiting list a mile long and 10 miles deep because you have a shortage of doctors, nurses, and medical.
In Canada it's possible, but in Germany you don't have wait lists 2 years.
I thought it was Ottawa. What do you pronounce it?
I'm putting on an affectation.
Is that what the Canadians call it? They call it.
Well, some Canadian, I remember watching a movie where I think he was French Canadian, was talking to his counterpart in the American government, and he said, "Oh, we have a report about Ottawa," and that always stuck in my head the way he pronounced Ottawa. He said Ottawa. It's like, really? But then you learn that very quickly that the character that you're listening to is French Canadian, and they have a particular accent, and that's the way it is, right?
Yeah.
And I dealt with European patients. Was mostly from the UK and Ireland. But there were a few Germans, there were a few French, there were a few Norwegians and Dutch. and so on. Mostly UK, and they had idiotic waiting lists too. Most of the German patients didn't really complain too much about waiting times. They didn't really seem to have as bad a waiting times as the others. What they complained about was the quality of care wasn't what they wanted it to be. They really didn't define that very well for me, so I guess that's very subjective. But they said, but to a man and to a woman, they said that the care they got in the American hospitals was better than the German hospitals. So that's all I got to go on.
That's possible.
And the Norwegian one, the folks from Denmark, the Scandinavian, the Benelux countries, etc. They said, no real waiting lists per se, but your quality of care in America is so much better. So we don't mind flying over here and doing all that for the especially post-op care. According to this one guy from Denmark, he said, the hospitals are great in Denmark. I said, then why are you here? He said, because they shove you out the door 10 minutes after you get off the table, and they don't give a damn about you anymore. Whereas the doctors and stuff here in America, they seem to care a bit more. Okay. In more in the sense of they're not so eager to shove you out the door.
Okay.
Not so quickly, anyway. Now, I remember when I had surgery on my broken ankle in 2016. They screwed a plate in my ankle and a couple other things to stabilize it so I could heal. And they kicked me out the door the next day.
Oh, that's bad.
And I said, isn't that a little soon? He said, why do you want to stay here?
Yeah, why do you want to stay?
I said, you don't need to stay here. The worst that's going to happen to you is you might get an infection along the suture line.
Yeah.
In which case, we'll give you some amoxicillin and keep it clean, and follow up with the orthopedist in a week.
There was really no reason for you. Yeah.
I mean, when I had back surgery, they kicked me out after 2 days.
Well, what I did was, I kicked myself out the next day. So
I mean, granted, I don't want to spend any more time in a hospital than necessary. I hate hospitals. They're full of sick people.
I didn't either. Yeah, I think it was like of course Saturday was when I broke my leg, and then Sunday morning I had the surgery to put the rod in, and the next day, Monday, we went home. I was like, we can go home now. Good, let's go home. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in the bad old days when I was in grade school, 2, 3, 4 of my classmates needed tonsils taken out. It was, they were in the hospital for 2 days and they were out of commission for a week. Nowadays, you take tonsils out. I mean, shit, it's outpatient surgery. You go home that day. Appendix was a 4 or 5 day ordeal. Now it's overnight and go home.
Yeah.
Technology moves on.
Yes. And I'm glad that they don't use stitches anymore. They're to like use like some kind of glue. Now I don't really know what it is, but it's some kind of glue. I don't know.
It's some kind of it's like a glue. It's sort of on the same principle as crazy glue. It's a super glue, but it's a biological super glue, and it basically absorbs into the skin. So, you're not stuck in the hospital, and you don't have to go back and have your sutures removed.
Yeah.
it truly is amazing what they've done with medical technology compared to where we were like even 10 years ago. I'll give you an even better example. Both my father, my paternal grandfather, and my father had to have hip replacements, right?
Oh yeah.
My grandfather, my grandfather, my dad's dad, had a hip replacement in the early 80s. He was he never and he was very old by the time he had the hip replacement done. It was basically done because of pain more than anything else. He never actually walked again, but he didn't start physical therapy for like a month after the surgery. It took that long to heal up. Now that may have been part of the fact was he was already advanced age and so on. But my dad had hip replacement surgery when he was in his I think it was early 70s. They had him walking around within a few hours, baby steps and stuff like that. But they had him walking around within a few hours of him waking up. And they discharged him after 2 days, and he went right into physical therapy for, I think it was 6 weeks. Yeah. And at the end of all that, he was walking normally, and pain-free.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's the way it was for my dad too. Yeah, he's had both of them replaced. So, yeah.
I'm wondering, because there's family history of that. I'm wondering, I don't have any pains in my hips or my knees right now.
Not yet.
So I'm wondering if I'm going to have a hip replacement.
Yeah, not yet, but you might. Yeah.
No, but then again, I'm not near the age where they were when they had to. I've still got probably a good 10 to 15 years before I have to face that if I go to the same age as my father. Somewhere in the 10 to 15 range. And who knows, by the time I turn around and need a hip replacement, either the technology will be such that they can do it with a suture line that's probably a few inches long, or they pass laws that say anyone over the age of 70 we kill. I don't know which way society's going to go. We could go dystopian and go Logan's Run, or we could go, we could go the other direction where everyone is allowed to live as long as they want. Who the hell knows?
What is Logan's Run?
Oh, you haven't seen Logan's Run?
No.
When you turn 30, you die. Logan's Run was actually was a fun little movie. It was sort of set in a domed city far into the future, and you were only allowed to every baby that was born had a crystal implanted in the palm of their hand called a life clock. And when you reached 30, or what they called last day, you went to a ceremony called carousel, and they basically killed you. Although they didn't call it killing you, they called it renew. And if you didn't want to go on carousel, you were called a runner. And runners were illegal.
Right.
So they had a group of police called Sandmen.
Okay, so I guess Logan is the main character, and he runs.
Yeah, Logan 5 was a Sandman who was recruited by the computer that ran the whole city to seek out a place called Sanctuary, where allegedly all the runners went to.
I'll be right back. I need a coffee.
Okay. Yeah, it's a nice little sci-fi-ish movie, but not, shoot 'em up, bang bang movie, but more of a, a dystopian society character movie.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of kind of like the Giver. Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone who hasn't seen Logan's Run, if you get the opportunity to see it on streaming, or if you can get a hold of a DVD or a Blu-ray, it's a fun little movie. It's well acted. It's well acted. It's a good story. It moves along at a good pace. And if you like Farrah Fawcett, Farrah Fawcett makes an appearance in there.
Who?
Oh shit! You know what? Look it up. Google it.
Who is Farrah Fawcett?
Farrah Fawcett was an actress back in the 70s and 80s. Blonde bombshell with very pretty lady. You know what? Let me see if I can pull a picture of her up here. Hang on a minute. Start a new window.
How was that?
Farrah Fawcett.
By the way, Rick, my daughter comes tomorrow.
I believe you've never heard of Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah, so we need one of her from then, and we need a picture of her from now.
Well, she's dead.
Okay.
Hang on. Let me
That's
get her up.
well, that sucks.
Well, yeah, but you know. Okay, can you see that?
Ooh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, this picture here, the one that's bigger than all the rest.
Nice.
This is the picture that she's famous for. This was actually, truth be known about this picture, it was sort of a mistake picture, but it turned into a poster that every teenage boy had up on their wall.
Yep.
And who is this person?
Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett.
I don't know her.
Well, you're not as old as I am.
Who is this?
She's an actress, or she was an actress. She was actually, does anyone know who Lee Majors was?
Yeah.
The $6 Million Man?
Yeah.
Well, she was married to Lee Majors at one time.
Okay. This was back in the 70s.
Yeah, 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
There's a picture of her in another movie she did called Saturn III. Now, there was a weird movie. Go rent that movie.
Saturn III. So, okay.
But look at her. I mean, in the 70s, this was considered to be, fresh-faced girl next door. And she was also one of Charlie's Angels.
Oh, yeah.
She was the one that was there. She was replaced by Cheryl Ladd after 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie's Angels was a daily soap.
No, it wasn't. It was a weekly anyway. But
yeah.
Anyway, I mean, this was, and she also made this hairstyle famous with all the feathers, the feathered hair. That's sort of a more older, that's a picture of an older Farrah Fawcett. She was still in great shape back in, all the way up to the end of her life. But she sort of went crazy towards the end there. I mean, look at that face. I mean, she's just a beautiful, no artificial nothing. She didn't have a boob job. She didn't have a nose job. She didn't have all the implants, all that shit. She looked great. She looked beautiful. And then obviously she didn't age great, but she did age. Oops. I didn't want to do that. No. I wonder if I can find a picture of her from Saturn III. Or from Logan's Run. Let's see if I can find it. Farrah Fawcett. Logan's Run. Yeah, there she is. She played a character called Holly. And there's Michael York, who is a great actor in his own right. He played Logan. Anyway, that's who Farrah Fawcett is. And if you get a chance to see Logan's Run, I think it's a great movie. Yeah, Dr. Bob, I don't disagree that Jacqueline Smith was a very pretty woman in her own right. Don't disagree with that at all. But Farrah Fawcett captivated the American audience, the movie-going and TV-going audience for years and years and years. And we lost Vic. Huh. Oh. Well, actually, that's not a bad thing because I got to wrap up anyway. I got to head over to my mom's house in a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's 5 o'clock anyway.
Greet your mom from me. Say hello to your mom. Say hello to your mom.
I will.
Good.
And
I wish you a nice day.
Thank you for stopping by, as usual.
Yeah. See you next week.
Yes, sir.
And the bet counts.
Okay. 2027. UNLV will not be in the playoffs.
We will see.
We will see. And thanks to Nate and Vic, who I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to before they left. And for stopping by. And thanks to everyone in the live chat who hung around. According to the counter, we didn't have a big crowd in here. I saw it dip as low as 4, maybe got as high as 12. But anyway, if you haven't done so on the way out, don't forget to click the thumbs up. It does help with the search algorithm. I appreciate that. Oh, Vic is back. I'm wrapping up, Vic.
My phone died.
Oh. Well, I was just wrapping up. But
okay.
Thanks for stopping by to say goodbye.
Yeah.
All right. And don't forget to check out VicTube Production. He usually goes live on Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Yep. So head over to his channel and support him the way you support me.
We got the morning show.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget about the morning show. It is no longer the other thing. It is now the show.
Yes.
So the curse has been lifted. I may not like Billy Napier for a lot of reasons, but at least he got that curse removed.
Yes, he did.
Thank you very much, Billy. Now, do us all a favor and try and win 10 games. That would be nice. Anyway, y'all have a good rest of the week. If you're into enjoying the National Felons League, I guess the playoffs are going on. Nobody I know cares. And do enjoy on the 20th, the last college football game of the season, Ohio State versus Notre Dame. I think Ohio State's going to win that game rather easily. I don't think it's going to be much of a game, but there it is. And I will see you all in the next stream, which will be on the 22nd, I hope. Y'all have a good rest of the week. Have a good weekend, and I will see you soon. Peace.